Aloha! Today is August 12th. It's been 5 months since our fire, and as you can tell, everything is still pretty much the same. We do have the refrigerator finally removed. The experts were able to do that this weekend. But it has been 5 months. We should be getting the green light to finally do our demo and renovation, which would be great. Help us to progress through and not feel so stagnant again. But in the last 5 months, I've had the opportunity to think about, make mistakes, think about those mistakes and advice I'd give to people if ever they went through the same situation or something similar where you lose everything. So I'm going to share some of that with you. One of the first things was my wife and I regretted how fast we started making decisions on what needs to be thrown away and what we should try to save. Within 2 days of the fire, still didn't have clothes for a week worth of clothes. We didn't have that. We had a place to stay, still trying to figure out a whole bunch of other aspects of life. But we made those decisions way too quick because now, 5 months later, we're looking at stuff that, or we're asking, where is such and such a thing? Where is that? Oh, I think it got dumped. So that's one of the things that we wish we had done. Take time. Take time to get yourself in an emotional space or a mindset that'll allow you to make good decisions. The second piece of advice is to be patient. In our case, Samsung's fridge lit our house on fire. Well, lit the kitchen on fire and smoked everything else out. You can see it all right here, right? But in order to have Samsung be liable, we had to leave all the evidence undisturbed. In our case, it's been 5 months. 5 months of looking at the same thing over and over again. 5 months of no progress. 5 months of stagnation. Okay? But it's necessary. Because when they go to court, and we were so impatient that we ripped everything out and we fixed everything, and that's a tendency for all humans to do, especially fathers, right? They want to put their family back together, put everything back together, but what happens is now there's no evidence. And now the guilty party, the liable party, can tell the judge, we don't know if it's ours. All the evidence is destroyed. Case dismissed. We don't want that. The third thing that I would probably say is to look closely at everything. If you look at the floor right now, right, it just looks like a messy, dirty floor. What I found was when we're going through stuff and taking stuff out, there would be things on the floor that would be like, oh yeah, I was looking for that. I was hoping I could find that. It would have ended up in the dump, but it didn't. It ended up falling out because it wanted to be found. Little things like this. Nice dime. Somebody's earring. Somebody else's earring. Take the time to look closely, to change your perspective. Another piece of advice that I give to people is what we tried to do. I mean, initially we would do this too, but life always got in the way. School, work, chores, bills, everything else. But really make an effort to spend time together, to be with each other, to make memories. Kau'i, this is a tough one because Kau'i was a senior this year. Fire happened in March. She graduated in May. May. So a couple months later. We still had to go through that process of her enjoying her senior year. Going to the prom, going through graduation, walking, and having a grad party. We didn't have a grad party, but we took her to Las Vegas, her and the family to Las Vegas and to Disneyland as a way of celebrating her. Trying to give her some sense of normalcy. And then finally, another thing that we did is we took the kids up to Mauna Kea this past week, so that they can be in touch with their culture and their ancestors and their land and the history that's happening right now, making that memory for them. So take the time to make the memories with your family, because you never know. The last piece of advice that I usually give everybody is, and it's hard, especially if you haven't planned for this, but hopefully this video helps you. Have some kind of a logical, non-emotional plan. I say that because the emotional plan for this would have been rip everything, gut everything, just get everything back together as soon as possible. We don't care the cost, we don't care timelines, we don't care who does it, but that's not necessarily the right thing. Like I said before, we got to play the game, to make sure that the people who should pay. Those that are liable are found liable. And but have that plan in place anyway. And one of the biggest pieces is to be organized. This was my office. I don't have an office now. So a lot of the paperwork are in boxes and storage or in a pile somewhere where we're staying. And when people ask for it, sometimes it's hard to get it, get it for them. So if at all possible, try to stay organized. Organize all your important files so you know where they are. You can grab them one time and go. Hopefully this video is a good reference for you all. Again, I'm grateful that we're able to finally be on the eve of renovation, on the eve of progressing through this situation that we've been given, this trial that we've been given. And hopefully we have more happier videos, funner videos as we see the renovation take off and the house transform back to what it's supposed to be. But until then, hopefully you never have to use the advice that I'm giving you. But if you ever do, keep those things in mind, because it'll make the transition a little bit easier. Aloha.